Hey there, welcome to Carpo's channel. I'm Carpo. I do everything myself here. I don't have any editors. I don't do any editing or jump cuts or removing the things that I said that I might feel that I shouldn't have said. And I'm using this as my 2021 introduction. So let me start off by giving you kind of a preamble, I guess, to explain where I'm coming from. I've been making YouTube videos for about 10 years. At least once a year, I make an introduction video for the channel. For people who have never been to the channel, as you all know, as people who use YouTube, if you go to a channel, the first video to play is the one that the video, creator selected for you to see, to kind of introduce themselves, let you know what they're about. Sometimes they're brief, a couple minutes long. Ones like mine can be fairly long. And I'm hoping this one isn't too long, but it really, to make that point first, I change every year. Every moment that I live, I have new thoughts, new ideas, new things to process that make me step back and go, oh, shoot, should I say that or should I do that? Do I believe this? Do I believe that? And, I've always stuck to the same format. Me talking to the camera, sharing my thoughts with you, and the only thing that I would really want to say that is going to change in 2021, or at least is my intention, and I make no promises, first off, is something I've realized over the last couple of years, and especially this year. There are a lot of people who do not want to hear anything about controversial issues. And it's always been my belief that, too bad, everybody needs to hear about these issues. And then I started thinking about this, and I've really been processing what people have told me. They said, hey, I like your channel because you don't talk about politics, or because you don't talk about religion, or, in other words, making a person, I don't generally try to make a person feel bad because of what they believe. But if I do talk about my beliefs, it is so incendiary sometimes when we get into discussions about politics or religion or anything else that, and usually it's productive, but sometimes it's so bad that I question whether it's even worth a discussion. Now, 10 years ago on my channel, I had a totally different opinion of religion. I would argue with people online about, saying, no, this isn't true, and that religion should disappear from the earth. And, it's a facepalm to have a new perspective over the years, realizing how much hope it gives people, and then trying to inspire people who, say, are really anti-religion, like hardcore atheists. I feel like a fool trying to say, hey man, religion has a place in society. And they're like, oh, you're just a fucking, Christian or a fanatic. I'm like, no, man, I'm actually, I guess you would say I'm an atheist. But that's only by a religious standard. I'm actually agnostic, but I would consider myself a person who believes that the earth is conscious, the universe is conscious. I believe that we interact with the universe, it interacts with us, that there's a cosmic blueprint that we don't understand. And I'll just leave it at that, because that's not what this video is about. But that I do have a belief in something greater. And, I'm not just some heathen, but, it's really hard to have discussions about religion without people going to that, which is a totally separate subject, but a video I was going to make nonetheless later on, which was really about this thing I got in the mail earlier. Prophecy Unsealed. It's got a picture of a lion with wings and a cheetah with wings on there, I think, or a two-headed cheetah, and even a woman with a mask. It's very dated. This is just horrendous. It says, what is hell really all about? Oh, and then there's the issue that divides the world and God's test of loyalty. And it's this guy, Brian McMahon. He's like some random preacher dude who is a Seventh-day Adventist. And like I said, I'm not here to harp on religion. I'm here to harp on those who capitalize on religion like a lot of these people do. But my main point wasn't to say anything bad about anyone here. I really want to say that I fully support anybody who wants to believe in a higher power in their own way, so long as it's not so dogmatic that it affects others negatively. And I think everybody knows exactly what that means. If you dismiss your family and friends, if you have excommunicated people because they don't believe in your religion, like what happens with Mormonism, with Jehovah's Witnesses, and many others. If you dismiss people from your life that you really love because they don't believe what you believe, it's a problem. That's an addiction to a belief. But for another time, that's the reason why I address these things, because I find it's important. People who have broken away, that's really weird. He just said break away, and I totally forgot that line was in there after I said broke away. And what I'm listening to is Time to Spare, which is my brother's band, which I played with him in. I'm playing bass, my brother plays guitar. I use it in the background because it won't get a copyright strike, because we wrote it. When my brother was the one that was singing, and he said break away when I said it, and it was just really strange. I had to point that out. But the point is, I want to help people break away from their own bullshit, their own religions, if it's not suiting them. But I have no intention on converting people. Just like I would hope a Christian would have no intention of converting me if I'm happy, or looking down on me because of what I believe. And if you believe in a hellfire, that's really hard. So I'm moving on past that. I just wanted to point that out. So where I'm coming from on religion, for anyone who asks, I believe in a higher power and energy. I don't believe in direct karma or any man-made religion. I feel everything I feel, I believe in my heart, and I feel in my depths of my soul. Can't explain it any other way. I've had some intense psychedelic experiences that I should, as a disclaimer, which have led me to what I have seen as, I consider, the Godhead, if you will. And it sounds arrogant, I don't care, but I've seen what I consider to be God, or felt it. It's not something you visually see, but a feeling you get where you realize everything is okay. And once I got past that, I thought, how do you share this with the world? I can't, so I set it on a shelf. But yes, I believe in a higher power and greater energy. So anybody out there, don't worry. I'm still a God-loving person, just not a God-fearing person, because that's total bullshit. I don't fear any God. I don't fear anything. I don't fear hell. I don't fear burning for eternity. The only hell we make is here on earth. Period. Fact. That's the only way I see it, and I will never change my mind on that. We make our own hell. So, moving on. The next subject would be politics, and I'm only going to touch on this briefly. I'm sure somebody out there is ready to thumb it down right now just because they hear me talking about that. I'm not going to talk about politics. Right now, it's October of 2012. 2020. Won't even go there. I was thinking about the apocalypse of 2012 and how everybody believed it was going to end on December 21st, but it was never even a prophecy. But in October of 2020, I've made a pact with myself this month in October that I'm not going to look at anything Trump says or any political news. Now, let me tell you, this is, some people say, the most crazy election in history, and I'm making it a point to avoid all political news for a month, the last month before the election. And it's just kind of a funny challenge because I don't really care, but I'm more seeing if I can avoid other people telling me things. It's hard. You can't look away. It's like rubbernecking. You're like, oh my God, this disaster, it's a fire. Oh my God. And no, I'm not a Biden fan. I can't believe that we have the same fucked up choices we had before. But, some people love Trump. I've learned to accept that. It is what it is, right? And I'm watching it unfold, and I've never really had any emotional investment in any politics. I don't get angry, okay? That's the point. I think a lot of people get physically angry because they're projecting their actual, and this maybe kind of drawing conclusions here, but a lot of people have life issues they haven't dealt with. When they find something that they can take out on others or find an enemy, then politics can be a great way to just point the finger at somebody else and say they're the problem. Whether it's, immigrants or liberals or conservatives or whatever it might be. And everybody's just got to step back for a minute and go, wait, we all have a life to live here. Together. We have to live on this planet together. We cannot escape each other. We cannot, we can't run away to the hills anymore. We can't excommunicate people or banish them from the cities. We have nowhere to go. And so unless we learn to cooperate, we're not going to get anywhere. And let me just put it this way. If we don't treat each other with respect. If people feel disrespected by their own community, their own nation, for any reason, their children are going to grow up with the values of despising the group that held them down, whether it be racially motivated or culturally, or people who look down on each other for different religions, or husbands and wives, the way that people rise up when they feel pushed down. This is why we're facing the protests we had. And, as I said, I changed my mind over time. I was totally on board with the protests when they started. But once it got to people burning the town, breaking windows in the Natural Museum in Portland, I was just disgusted. I mean, I'm not ignorant, and I'm not unaware of people when they cross the line. Like, I'm trying to be as balanced as I can when I talk about controversial issues on my channel. And I want people to know that nobody changes my mind by calling me names or getting into an ad hominem attack, but I do change my mind, and it takes me time. This is something that I've talked with a lot of people about, and I think you will all totally agree. Either you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, or you'll understand. When you're giving people ideas, you can't plant an idea in somebody's head and force it to grow. You cannot force somebody to see things your way. But you can plant a seed. It's the best metaphor. You plant a seed. If the land is fertile, it will grow, but it takes time. You can't just tell your friend, oh, hey man, I don't like Trump and you do, so you should see things my way. It's complete bullshit. Over time, you start to gradually think about what a person said, and you might change your mind. Just like I have with a lot of people who have said, hey man, I see things this way and you see things this way, and that's bullshit. And I'd be like, whatever, you got your opinion. Then I think about it. And I totally have said, hey man, you're right, I'm sorry, or I shouldn't have done this, or I shouldn't have said this, it's not what I meant. More often than not, it's not what I meant. I'd like people to know that about my channel. And this is pretty obvious in the fact that my videos are a one-shot video, okay? I know that doesn't sound like a bragging right or anything important, but if you understand how video editing works, which not a lot of people do unless they make them, most of the YouTubers you see cut out chunks of their videos that they feel were or meh. And it's hard, because if I say something that's stupid and I'm like, shouldn't have said that, but I'll clarify later, that makes me more motivated to want to make clear, concise, and to-the-point videos that actually get across what I want to say. And goddamn, am I fucking grateful to have all of you out there watching my channel that actually care about what I have to say, which puts a burden on me to make me feel like I have to actually say something of value. When I had 10 subscribers or 20 subscribers, it was totally different. I know people are like, oh, you have 20,000 subscribers. Really, it's not. When you build an organic following over 10 years, I'm guessing I have probably 1,000 or less subscribers. I'm guessing I have maybe 5 to 10% of what I actually have. Most of the other accounts are probably just dead accounts or random accounts. So it's kind of a weird thing. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I do have that many, but maybe all channels are like that. I don't know. YouTube is weird, and the internet's weird. Growing up in the internet age is weird. Being Gen X, where you grew up reading compasses in school, and typing in, / run on your computer to make things work. It was a totally different world when the Google came around. It was like, what is this? A search engine. And here we are today, where I start to question what we've really learned and what we've not learned and what we've taught each other. And it's just chaos out there. So that's all I have to say for my introduction, my who I am kind of 2021. I'm going to stop talking about shit that might offend people in any way I can, and I already try not to. I want people to know that. I'm also going to really try to interview more people. And I'd like to point this out, if anybody's made it this long. there are some plans that I have next year to have interviews with people, and I'd love to do it directly, but I know the circumstances don't warrant it. So, therefore, I would like to maybe do phone interviews with people that have something to say. But my real dream is a podcast with somebody that I can, I'd like to partner up with somebody to do a podcast, because bouncing ideas off people is great. My friend Joel, who watches my channel, I'd love to do them with him, but he's a trucker. He's always out and about. There are some people that I would love to do it with. My brother, he him and I don't see each other very often, but it would be kind of fun to do it with him. Maybe I should do it over the phone or with somebody else, remotely. I haven't figured that out yet, but I want to, because I really want to bring forth important ideas that I think are important and nail that shit. So, I'm out. I think I've said everything I have to say. That's my 2021 introduction. It's rough. It ain't polished, and that's the way I like shit. So, I'll see you or I won't see you. And I won't tell you to hit the subscribe button or that bell icon. I don't think I've ever said those words. Hit the bell icon for notifications. Honestly, I'll just tell you this. Hit subscribe, please, if you haven't watched my channel before. But please, do not bother hitting that bell icon, because social media makes you think you have to have a notification in your email, in your phone, on get a buzz every time something happens. Complete bullshit. I would urge people not to get a notification for my channel. When you go to your subscriptions, you'll see it if you want to see it, right? And that's kind of where I'm coming from in today's world. The same reason I haven't checked Twitter in days, and I don't plan to use it anymore. And the same reason why I still love YouTube, because I can look you all in the eye and say, what's up? I'm an honest person. I don't need 160 characters, because it ain't enough. I got more to say. So what else do I have to say? A lot, but I'm not going to, because it would just be another 20 minutes. For those who don't know already, I have a Patreon channel where I upload additional content and podcasts, and I'm planning to add more. And I also have a secondary YouTube channel where I talk about random stuff like plants, or it's Carpo's World of Thoughts. And then if you all want to search it out, I don't advertise that I have a controversial channel. I only have a few videos, but it was kind of like my apocalypse channel, but that's for another time. I'll talk to y'all later. Be well. Smile at somebody. Yeah. Zirconia, baby.